Welcome back, Kryptonians, to the Chart Experts continuing coverage of Bitcoin and the crypto charts. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to focus on the elephant in the room, and you're looking at it, the Trump tariffs and how that affects the crypto market and also how it's going to affect the US economy. Okay, so after the recent panic selling triggered by the news of Trump's tariffs, I just want to share my thoughts on how these tariffs are going to influence the price of Bitcoin and their overall impact on the US economy. So in our earlier analysis, as you'll note towards the end of last year, we noted that the Trump administration's cancelling of the green agenda would likely lead to a decline in the equity markets, and we done various posts on Twitter in regard to that. Now, that was before this new hammer of trade war tariffs, and that's what we're going to call it. They are triggering a trade war. So these trade war tariffs will make matters even worse. Okay, so this is not good for the stock market, not at all. These tariffs, many people think that these tariffs are imposed on other countries and therefore it's good for the US. Oh no, it's not. These tariffs will be paid by companies in the US who import goods. So in effect, it's increasing the costs of the US companies who are importing foreign goods. Okay, so this huge increase in the cost, and it ranges from 10 to over 50% cumulatively. This huge increase in the cost of both essential and discretionary goods will likely be passed on to the US consumer very quickly. Okay, because the size of these increase in costs is just ginormous. This is not normal at all. Now, many American consumers are already burdened with debts up to their neck. They live on their credit cards, they've got huge loans, and the inflation caused by these specific policies will likely lead to an even higher cost of living. Okay, so those repayments on whatever borrowing that they have on their credit cards and whatever else they borrow, that's going to go up significantly because they're going to be borrowing more, living more on their credit cards, living more on borrowing, and this will be a surge in consumer debt caused by Trump. This inflation could get even worse if other countries respond with trade wars and reciprocal tariffs, and we were already hearing from the EU and others that they will have to respond. Now, it's important to note that the US relies on imported goods for both production and consumption. So Trump wants to increase manufacturing in the US and bring manufacturing home, but that manufacturing relies on imported products. That includes rare earth minerals, that includes commodities. Okay, so even if such a thing were to occur, so for example, to start up a new manufacturing business, it takes roughly about 5 years. Okay, typically. There's a lot of red tape that needs to be got through as well. So typically 5 years to start up a new factory. So for the next few years, US consumers will likely see a sharp increase in their cost of living. Okay. Now, Trump is rich. He does not care. He didn't care when he done the crypto pump and dump. He didn't care about the green agenda. He just, he's rich enough to not care. And it gets worse. High inflation typically leads to rising interest rates. So now that increased borrowing by American consumers is likely to be made worse by rising interest rates, because the Fed is likely to raise interest rates to curb the high inflation. And again, this is the opposite of what Trump wants. His supporters, many of whom who are already struggling with debt, are likely to become frustrated with this huge increase in their living costs and could express this dissatisfaction through protests well before the next election in 4 years. Now, the silver lining of all of this really is the fact that during times of high inflation and increasing debt, Bitcoin will likely become much more appealing as an investment. Its deflationary design is likely to retain value when investors are looking for a stable asset to protect their wealth. So you are likely to see more adoption of Bitcoin and similar cryptocurrencies, not just Bitcoin, but we have to say other products are available. The usual disclaimer. But so most people are familiar with Bitcoin, and it's likely that we're going to see more demand for Bitcoin. Okay, now that doesn't mean that when the equity markets are going down sharply, that Bitcoin is going to be immune. It will likely suffer as well in the short term, really. But then we are likely to see the price of Bitcoin and the demand on Bitcoin become much more substantial. Okay, I hope this has clarified the Trump tariffs and how it's going to affect the crypto market and also the US consumers. If you like this type of content, please give this video a thumbs up, share it, subscribe. Hey, this is Asim at the Chart Experts, wishing you every success. Take care of yourself and your crypto. Till next time. Bye bye.